ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्म उपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत्। अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु। मनिनिरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओमित्येतदक्षरमुद्गीतमुपासीत ओमिति ह्युद्गायते तस्योपव्याख्यानम् तदनन्यत्वम् आरम्भणशब्दादिभ्यः। Because of passages, such passages as those beginning with Arambhanam, Vacharambhanam, Vikara Namadhayam. What is Vikara? What is modification? Is something that is merely has its origin in the speech only. It is only Namadhayam, only in name, doesn't have any content. The word part has no content. The word clay has a content because there is an object corresponding to the word clay. But the word part has no content because there is no object corresponding to the word part. It is merely a notion, a projection. Therefore it is mithya, a projection. And therefore what you call part is really nothing but clay, and therefore never different from clay, never apart from clay. Clay includes all the pots and pans. They don't stand apart from clay. Similarly, in this case, the Jagat, the universe is the creation and Brahman is the Karanam. Therefore, the universe is not apart from Brahman. It is Brahman that alone manifests as this universe. What is Brahman. ननु एकत्व एकांत अभियुगमे नानात्व अभावात्. You are saying that all there is Brahman, nothing but Brahman. Meaning that the Vedanta does not accept even a trace of anything other than Brahman. Even a trace of creation doesn't have reality, or creation doesn't even have a trace of reality at all. The only real entity is Brahman. In that case, katham egatva jnanena no pratyakshadini laukikani pramanani vyahanyeran. Then what about this means of knowledge such as pratyaksha, such as perception? So knowledge that we gain through our organs of perception, that is called the perceptual knowledge, pratyaksha jnanam, and that is considered to be valid. For example, these words are being spoken and they are being heard by our organ of hearing, and that is valid knowledge. Meaning that the organ of hearing is going to produce the valid knowledge of the words, of the sounds. So that involves a duality of the hearer, what is heard, the act of hearing. So when perception is a valid means of knowledge, that presupposes this duality in the form of the speaker, speaking, spoken, hearer, hearing, heard. That duality is taken for granted. If you say that there is no duality, then perception is not there, or the knowledge that perception produces, namely the perception of the sounds, will not be valid. That means that whatever you are doing is not valid. That's not right. Because pratyaksha or perception is accepted as pramanam, as a valid means of knowledge by everybody. And if you say that there is only Brahman, there is no duality, then perception which requires duality has no scope at all. It will be nullified. And then all other pramana, such as inference, etc., so they are all based on perception. All of them also will be nullified. Then this vyavahara cannot take place. So vyavahara does take place. You are talking and I am listening. You can't deny this fact that this interaction is taking place and that you are the subject, I am the object, that duality is very much there. How can you deny that? If Brahman alone is a reality, there is no subject, no object separate from that, or no subject separate from object. In that case, this vyavahara won't be possible. Sthanmadushiva purushadi jnanani. For example, when there is a lump, a stump of tree, sthana, or a post, and there is a superimposition of a ghost on that, or on a stump of tree you superimpose a man or a thief. How that is not valid knowledge? Similarly, all the knowledge that we are gaining through perception will be not valid at all. तथा विधि प्रतिषेध शास्त्रमपि भेद अपेक्षत्वात् तदभावे व्याहन्येत. In the same manner, vidhi pratisheda shastram, the karma kanda, which is of the nature of vidhi and nisheda, do's and don'ts, that whole shastra also, bheda apekshvatvat, that also has the apeksha, the expectation, the need. It presupposes bheda or duality when the shastra says do this and don't do that. That means a doer is presupposed. And do this, perform this action. So action that is separate from performer is presupposed. By performing this action, you will get this outcome. That outcome also is presupposed, and therefore the one performing action, the outcome, all this duality has to be there for this vyavahara, this transaction in the form of karma to take place. If there is no duality, then the karma, karta, karanam, all of this reduced to one. In that case, there is no doer, there is no doing. How to explain this? But then we are doing things. If you say that Brahman is the only reality, then how to explain this? So it is important that whatever philosophy you have, or whatever perception of life you have, should be able to explain the life. You can't deny whatever real experience is. You can't say you are not there. You can't say you are not speaking. You can't say you are not hearing, but I am speaking and you are hearing. You can't deny that fact. All of this will be denied. Not only that, but moksha shastrasyapi shishya shasitradi bheda apekshatvat. So Vedantin may say that we don't care for pratyaksha, we don't consider them valid. We don't care for karma kanda, even that is also not valid. As far as we are concerned, Vedanto nama Upanishad pramanam. Upanishad is only pramanam. That's called Vedanta. But even that pramanam also will have the same fate. Because Upanishad also requires the duality of the Shasita, Shishya, the teacher, the taught, the teaching. That kind of duality is required. And if there is no duality whatever, then how to explain this Vyavahara? Tadabhave Vyagata Syat. Same thing, Vyahanyeran, etc. Contradicted, will be nullified. Then we say that, no, even though this Vyavahara is mithya, so Jnate Dvaitam na vidyate Upadeshadayam Vadaha. Prapancho yadi vidyeta nivartetana samshaya. If prapancha was there, duality, then there is a question of nivaranam. It's not there. Maya matramidam dvaitam advaitam paramarthatah. All this dvaita is maya matram, merely in appearance, created by maya, advaitam paramarthatah. In reality, what is this advaitam? What is this? Non-duality. And this duality of the teacher and the taught is accepted. Upadeshad ayam vadaha is for Upadesha purposes. Jnate dvaitam na vidyate. When you gain the knowledge, duality no more remains. So this is kathamcha anurutena moksha shastrena pratipaditasya atmekattvasya satyatvam upapadyete iti. If a moksha shastra also is false, how can the false moksha shastra give rise to real knowledge? At least you would accept that aham brahmasmi, that is a real knowledge. But how does that knowledge take place? When the teacher imparts his instruction, tattvamasi, that thou art, that you are Brahman, that instruction is imparted, then that knowledge takes place, but that is all in the realm of duality, which is all false. So how can false shastra give rise to real knowledge? These questions are answered one by one. Atra uchyate. To that, this answer is given here. Naisha dosha, the defect that you pointed out does not arise in our case. Sarvavyavaharanameva prag brahmatmata vijnanat satyatva upapattehe. We do not say that this vyavahara is not there at all. We do not say that duality is not there at all. We say that it is there, or it is real, as long as the knowledge of non-duality does not take place. That's all. And so Vyavahara can take, just because Vyavahara is there does not mean it has to be real. That's the whole thing. For this Bheda Bhedavadi or Parinamavadi, For them, the Abheda also is real, and Bheda also is real. Non-duality is real at the level of cause, and duality is real at the level of effect. In which case they say that this Vyavahara is real. So as real as Paramartha, Brahman also is real, this Vyavahara also is real. Says no, Vyavahara is real, all right, until the knowledge of Brahman takes place. Swapna Vyavaharasyeva Prak Prabodhat. Just as the Vyavahara, all the transactions take place in the dream. Swakale Satyavadbhati Prabodhe Satyasadbhaved. Swakale Satyavadbhati. As long as the dream is, so long the dream appears very real. Just because something appears real does not mean it has to be real. Or just because you think that something is real does not mean that it has to be real. The dream also, the dreamer thinks that all the experiences in dream are real. Prak Prabodhat, as long as he is not woken up. Yavadhi na satyatmekatva pratipattihi tavad. प्रमाण प्रमेय फल लक्षणेषु विकारेषु अनृत बुद्धि न कस्यचित् उत्पद्यते. As long as you are in dream, it never happens to you that I am in the mithya world. In the dream, I take that all the experience. In the dream, in fact, even the body is different, and it may not even be human body. They report. They say that in the dream, people assume all kinds of bodies depending upon their karma. I don't know. But certainly the body in the dream is different from the waking body. There is no doubt about that. And so, nobody ever thinks that all this is false in the dream. Yavadhi, similarly, Yavadhi, Satyatmaikatva Pratipatti. So, as long as Yavanna Jnayate Brahma Sarvadhishthanam Advayam, until you know Brahman, which is Sarvadhishthanam Advayam, the Adhishthanam, the substrate of everything which is non-dual, Tavat Satyam Jagadbhati Shuktika Rajatam Yatha. So long Jagat Satyam Bhati, so long the Jagat appears real, Shuktika Rajatam Yatha. Until the knowledge of Shuktika or the shell, until that takes place, the Rajatam, the superimposed silver, it all appears real. So until then, nobody ever recognizes that this is all unreal. Vikareshu anurtattva buddhi na kasyachit utpadyate. Nobody ever thinks that all this is anrutam or false or mithya. Vikaran evatu ahamaitya iti avidya atmatmiyena bhavena sarvojantu pratipadyate swabhaviki brahmatmatam hitva. When a person is in a dream, his swabhava is the waker's body. His true nature is the waker's body. Swabhavikim brahmatmatam hitva. Similarly also, when we are doing vyavahara in the realm of duality, the true nature of ourselves is Brahma. Swabhavikim brahmatmatam hitva, discarding the identity with Brahma and Atma, which is swabhaviki, which is beginningless, which is inherent. Hitva. Aham mamaiti, I am only this much and this is mine. Avichineva jnane tannashe sati kevalah swayam prakashadehi atma megapayam shumaniva. Avichineva atma. Atma appears avichinna. parichinna, limited because of ignorance. So until then, everybody takes the self as limited and things related to self as belonging to me, Atma Atmiya. Sarvo jantu pratipadyate. All ignorant people assume this self, I and mine to be real. Naisargikoyam loka vyavaharaha aham mameti naisargikoyam loka vyavaharaha. This I and mine, the loka vyavahara, even these expressions also are naisargika. It is from ignorance which is beginningless. तस्मात् प्राग ब्रह्मात्मता प्रतिबोधात् उपपन्नः सर्वो लौकिको वैदिकश्च व्यवहारः. Therefore, O पूर्व पक्षी, O भेदाभेदवादी, for proving the vyavahara as valid, for proving the vyavahara to be valid, you do not have to think that vyavahara has to be real. An unreal thing also can be very valid until you have known the truth. In all these suspense novels and the movies, everything, there is an investigator who investigates everything. At the end it is recognized that this fellow is a criminal, who is investigating. But nobody knows. So until you know, it all appears real. So just to give it reality does not mean, or because you think it is real, doesn't mean it is real. Similarly, Laukika, Vaidika Vyavahara, all of this is quite in order until the Brahmatmata, Prag Brahmatmata Pratibodhat. Before the knowledge of the Brahmatmata, the identity of Brahmanatma, all of these Laukika, Vedika Vyavahara is all in order, not real in order. Yatha suptasya prakrutasya janasya swapne uchchavachau bhavan pashyatah nishchitameva pratyakshavidam vijnatam bhavati Prag Prabodhat. Just as an ordinary ignorant person who does not know the reality of dream and the waking, etc. When that person is dreaming and seeing some exalted thing in the dream or some profane thing in the dream, Uchchavachan Bhavan Pashyatah. That time, Nishchitameva Pratyakshavimadam Vijnanam Bhavati. He thinks that whatever I am perceiving is real. So that's your concern. Your concern is that the pratyaksha or perception is all solid, is all real. He says, yes, in the dream also, to the dreamer, he thinks that I am actually seeing things. I am talking, I am walking, and therefore, to the dreamer, all the vyavahara in the dream is very much real. Prag Prabodhat, until he wakes up. Naja pratyakshabhasa abhipraya tatkale bhavati. At that time, this understanding never arises that what he is experiencing is abhasa, is an appearance and not a reality. Sometimes even when we are watching a movie, we become so involved in the movie that we forget the reality and we think that that is the reality, and we become there and we start experiencing the same kind of sentiments. We respond, we also laugh and cry while watching the movie. That time it has been forgotten that this is just a movie. So how one forgets? At that time this reality is forgotten. My true nature that I am a spectator is forgotten and I seem to become an actor. Similarly, moha madiram pitva, having consumed the Madira, the alcohol of delusion. The person has forgotten the true nature and thinks that what is all going on is the reality. So just because you think that what is going on is real doesn't mean it has to be real. It can be explained. An unreal thing also can appear as real because of ignorance. So ignorance can create the notion of reality about what is unreal. Tadvada. Similarly, now continuing the page 377, says Ratnaprabha, evam dvaita pramananam vyavahar kale bhada shunyarth bodhakatvam vyavaharikam pramanyam upapadya. Evam dvaita pramananam. In this manner, the pramanas, the valid means of knowledge, perception basically, and inference and presumption, etc., based on perception. Dvaita pramananam vyavahara kale, as long as the ignorance is there, so long the knowledge created by this perception is not negated, is not falsified, is taken to be real. Right now this duality is going on, the vyavahara is going on, and then you think that you are a real listener. I think that I am a real speaker. So until the knowledge takes place, so prananneva pranana bhavati vadan vak pashyan chakshuhu. While speaking, automatically there is an identification with the organ of speech, and I call myself a speaker. While hearing, automatically an identification with the organ of hearing takes place, and you say that you are a hearer. So when we think of ourselves as speaker and hearer, there never is an idea that this is wrong, this is right. But all of this is until the true nature of the self is recognized. That speaking, hearing, all of this belongs to the upadhi. Naiva kinchit karomi iti. Yukto manyeta tattvavit. Tattvavit knows that I do not do anything. Indriyani indriyartheshu vartante. The sense organs are interacting with the sense objects, and that is called vyavahara. But this I do not know. So until that is known, all of this is real. So it is called bhada shunyartha bodhakam, artha bodhakam. The perception, etc., the eyes and ears, the knowledge that they generate is not negated. They generate the non-negatable knowledge. So what is the pramanam? Pramanam is what? Pramakaranam pramanam. So that which generates valid knowledge is called pramanam. What is prama? What is valid knowledge? That which is bhada shunyam, which cannot be negated. So right now in a vyavahara, there is nothing that can negate this notion on my part that I am a hearer. Nothing is here which can negate that, or my notion that I am a speaker. That is not negated at all. All that Swamiji is talking about Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, all this is the conclusion here, where there is nothing to negate that. So this is called bhada shunyartha bodhakatvam. A pramana or a valid means of knowledge, artha bodhakam, which actually conveys the meaning, which is, or conveys the knowledge which is non-negatable, bhada. So bhada shunya. Upapadya. So Bhashyakara showed how, as long as knowledge has not taken place, all this vyavahara is taken to be real. and nobody even suspects that this is unreal, that this is merely like a dream or an appearance. Nobody even suspects. So that means that all these Dvaita Pramanas have validity only as long as there is ignorance. How about Advaita Pramanam? When does it have validity? Vedant Advaita Pramananam Vedantanam Sarvakaleshu. But Vedanta, which is what? Advaita Pramanam, meaning that which reveals the truth that what is Brahman. Brahme Vedam Sarvam, Atme Vedam Sarvam. What is Brahma? What is Atma? This is what? Or Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. This is what the Advaita Pramana, Vedanta Pramana reveals. When is it valid? Is it valid only after knowledge takes place? Vedanta says this is valid even in the realm of ignorance. Even when you are ignorant, you are Brahman. You may not know that, but you are Brahman regardless. So this fact about myself that I am Brahman remains non-negatable in ignorance as well as knowledge. This notion about myself that I am a speaker, that gets negated when I come to know that I am Brahman. But that I am Brahman is not negated by this notion of I am being a speaker. Because even when I take myself to speaker, even when this 10th man is searching for the 10th man, he is still 10th man. Therefore, Upadesha is always possible. You are the 10th man. So, Sarvakaleshu Bhadashunya Brahma Bodhakatvam. At all the times, to an ignorant person also, Vedanta teaches that you are Brahman. So, Brahma Bodhakatvam, Bhadashunya Brahma Bodhakatvam. And that knowledge that I am Brahman is not negated at any time. Knowledge that I am Brahman is not subject to being negated any time. Tatvikam Pramanyam Upapadaitam. And therefore, this Tatvikam Pramanyam, in reality, this is Vedanta, is Pramanam in reality, in absolute sense. And, so, whereas this Pratyaksha, etc., have validity only in the realm of ignorance. That Aham Brahmasmi, this Pramanam of non-duality is valid in ignorance as well as knowledge, meaning that this notion on my part that I am a speaker does not negate the fact that I am Brahman. You see? Even though I entertain a notion that I am a speaker, I still remain Brahman. So that notion on my part does not negate the fact that I am Brahman. Whereas knowledge that I am Brahman negates the notion that I am speaker. Understand the difference? That I say I am a speaker, I am a hearer, I am a thinker. All these different notions are entertained by me about myself. That does not negate the fact that I am Brahman. Even when this fellow is searching for the 10th man, the fact that he is 10th man is not negated. So even when he thinks that he is the 9th man, the fact that he is 10th man is not negated. Whereas when he comes to know that I am the 10th man, the notion of being 9th man is negated. Similarly, even when I take myself to be a karta, bhokta, sukhi, dukhi, samsari, miserable, all of these notions do not negate the fact that I am Brahman. Whereas the knowledge that I am Brahman negates all these notions. Therefore, sarvakaleshu tatvikam pramanyam upapadaitum. Now Bhashyakara proceeds to explain with a reasoning how what Vedanta reveals is pramanam or valid at all the time. Meaning, sarvakalich means in the realm of ignorance as well as enlightenment. Ukta Shanka, for doing that, for establishing the Pramanya Vedanta, Bhashyakara reiterates the Shanka. The doubt was raised earlier by the Purvapakshi, is that part is reiterated. Katham tu, so Bhashyakara says, page 377, last line. Katham tu asatyena vedantavakyena satyasya brahmatmatvasya pratipattihi upapadyeta nahi rajju sarpena dashtaha mriyate napi mृगतृष्णिकां बसा पानावगाहनादि प्रयोजनं क्रियते इति. Question is, how can a false thing accomplish a real purpose? How can a false thing accomplish a real purpose? Katham tu asat. Now you say that Vedanta also are mithya, because Vedanta also is part of creation. Vedantins accept Vedas also as part of creation. The Mimamsakas look upon Vedas as eternal, not created, but the Vedantin says Vedas are of the nature of Shabda, and Shabda is also created with a space. And whatever is created is mithya. Vacharambhanam vikaro namadheyam. Therefore, even Vedanta Vakya Tattvamasi is also asatyam. It doesn't have absolute reality. If it's absolute reality, thing will never go away. Ajnana kalusam jivam jnanabhyasat vinirmalam krutva jnanam swayam nashyet jalam katakarenuvat. Jnanam swayam nashyet. The knowledge also subsides. Jalam katakarenuvat, like the kataka powder, coagulating all the impurities in the water, settles down. Similarly, Jnana Vritti also removing all ignorance, including Raga Dveshas and everything, and then also disappears. If that Aham Brahmasmi Vritti was also absolute, it will never go. Then you are stuck with it. Kitni oot, kitni rui, that will go on, you know. Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, that will go on. One will get crazy. But no, having done its job, that also subsides. Therefore, Vedanta Vakya, or this Vritti also, Aham Brahmasmi, also is asatya, or also in the realm of mithya. Katham tu asatyena Vedanta Vakyena. So Vedanta Vakya, you are Brahman, or Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, which is also in the realm of Vyavahara. Therefore, Satyam is mithya, Bhadayogya. Satyasya Brahmatmatvasya Pratipatyahi Katham Upapadyeta. But that I am Brahman, that's the reality about myself. That Vakya may not be real, but I am Brahman is reality. So I see the reality about myself that I am Brahman. So that Brahmatmatvasya Pratipattihi, Brahmatmatvam, that Atma is Brahman is the reality. Why the reality? Because non-negatable at any stage. In ignorance or knowledge, waking or dream or deep sleep, or any time, that fact is not negatable, therefore it is true, real. So how that pratipatti, how does that knowledge or cognition of myself being Brahman, which is real, how does that take place? He explains. नहीं रज्जु सर्पेण दष्टः म्रियते. Someone who is stung by rajju sarpa, not real sarpa. What is that rajju sarpa? And somebody who is stung by rajju sarpa, he won't die. Napi mrigatushnikambasa panavagahanadi prayojanam kriyadeti. I mean, mirage water, nobody can quench the thirst and nobody can take a bath in mirage water. So mirage water is mithya, it cannot accomplish real purpose. Quenching thirst is a real purpose. Taking bath is a real purpose. But mirage water cannot accomplish the real purpose. Or being bitten and therefore dying with them because of the poison is a real phenomenon. That cannot happen with the imagined snake. Similarly also with the Vedanta Vakyas that are imagined, how can the true knowledge take place? Go to Ratnaprabha. Kim asatyat satyam na jayate kimuta satyasya jnanam na jayate iti. When you are asking this question, how can the asatya or mithya Vedanta Vakya, how can it give rise to the real knowledge that I am Brahman? When you ask that question, Kim asatya satyam na jayate? Are you trying to say that how can satyam or real be born of asatya? So how can a satya, what is true or real, be born of asatya? Or kimuta satyasya jnanam na jayate? Or from asatya, so what is the question? From asatya, satya is not born or cannot be born. Is that a question? Or from asatya, the knowledge of satya cannot be born. Now understand the difference. Snake is one thing, but knowledge of the snake is another thing. So are you saying that satya is not born from asatya? Or you are saying that the knowledge of satya is not born from asatya? What is your contention when you are asking how can asatya Vedanta Vakya give rise to satya knowledge? Adyah ishtah eva. We also do not say that satya is born of asatya. You are not saying that the real is born of unreal. So asatya na satya pratipatti drishtantamaha. That from asatya the knowledge of satya cannot arise, he said, nahi rajju sarpena drishtah mriyate. One who is bitten by a rope snake cannot die. Asatyadavi maranadiriktam satyameva karyam bhavishyati ashankyaha. All right, by being bitten by a rajju sarpa, one may not die, but something else can happen. Says no, napi mrigutrishnikambasa. Second drishtanta is given that mirage water cannot serve the purpose of quenching the thirst or enabling to take a bath. Iti kriyate iti shabda dashtantika pradarshanaatha. Similarly also in case of Brahman, iti. So, Satyasya Utpattehe Anishtvatvad. We cannot say that Satyam is ever born because Utpadyamanasya Sarvasyeva Vacharammanatvad. Because we say that whatever is created is Mithya. So if Satya is created, Satya also will become Mithya. Therefore, Satya cannot be created. Iti. This is the general position. So Bhashyakara answers Naisha Dosha iti. Then says, say Ratna Prabha should read, Nahi vayam vakyotha jnanam satyamiti angikurmaha. Even vakyotha jnanam, knowledge that Aham Brahmasmi, as you said, we do not say it is absolutely real, is also a Vyavaharika Satta and does a Vyavaharika job. Fortunately, samsara is Vyavaharika, not Paramarthika. Therefore, for eliminating Vyavaharika samsara, the Vyavaharika knowledge is enough. So, Aham Brahmasmi, even if it is called Vyavaharika knowledge, meaning knowledge having Vyavaharika Satta only, not absolute reality, that is enough. Because what is to be eliminated, samsara also is not absolute, also is Vyavaharika. So therefore you require the like to remove the like. For example, electricity cannot remove the darkness, but electricity manifesting through a bulb as light can remove the darkness. So Brahman does not remove the ignorance, but Brahman as manifest in this vritti, Aham Brahmasmi, dispels the ignorance. So ignorance and all the products of ignorance in samsara also have Vyavaharika Satta. Therefore, the knowledge having Vyavaharika Satta is quite adequate to remove that. So, Nahi vayam vakyotha jnanam satyamiti angikurmaha. We are not saying that the knowledge born of Mahavakya is real. We are not saying that. So, question of is Satya being born of Asatya does not arise. False Vedas give rise to the same degree of knowledge which removes ignorance of the same degree. That's all. But now, Ratnavara proceeds further. Angikrityapi drishtantamaha. Suppose we accept for the time being that Satya is born of Asatya. Says Nayana, Satyasyapi kechid utpattim upagachanti. There are some who say that Satya also can be born, or what is born also can be Satya. Tat pakshebi na dosha. Even accepting that paksha also, there is no dosha, there is no defect. So Bhashyakara says, Naisha dosha. The defect that you pointed out does not arise. Shanka vishade nimitta marणादि कार्योपलब्धेः. Shanka vishadi nimitta, not real visha, but shanka visha. A person can die if somehow the notion has arisen that a real snake has bitten me. Then you may experience that now the poison is slowly rising in my body. They say that when snake or a scorpion bites you at a point, slowly that poison rises in the body. And one by one limbs get affected by that poison. And if the poison is very strong, that may kill a person. Not strong, then something can be done about it. So one may think that I am bitten by a snake. And it is possible that because of his imagination he may feel that the poison is rising and I am being poisoned and that I am dying. So, Shanka Vishadi, Shanka Visha, Shankita Visha. that this is in fact real poison, that kind of a doubt may arise in him, and that maranadi karyopalabde, the fellow may die. So not the real poison, but then the poison that is thought to be real, that can kill. So poison is thought to be real, it is not real, so it is mithya. But the death is real. So how the mithya thing has given, asatya has given rise to satya? Says Ratnaprabha, sarpena adashtasyavi dashtatva bhranti kalpita vishad. Even though the fellow is not bitten by a real snake, still dashtatva bhranti kalpita, on account of bhranti, delusion that I am bitten by a snake, I am stung by a snake. That is what they call placebo, In medical language they talk of placebo. Sometimes patients say, Swami, Doctor Sahib, give me injection. Doctor realizes that this fellow is a psychological problem, not a real problem. So he gives a distilled water injection. Patient thinks that a real injection is given, he gets cured. So how from the unreal thing, unreal medicine, the real cure takes place? Both ways. The real death can take place, or the real cure can also take place. Sarpena adashtasyapi dashtatva bhranti kalpita vishad satya murchadi darshanad. The fellow becomes unconscious. He may not die, but he may become unconscious because of the poison, imagined poison, or he may die also. Asatya satyam na jayate iti aniyamaha. Therefore, satya is not one of asatya, is not a rule. There are cases where satya is born, satya maranam is born of asatya poison, or satya recovery is from asatya medicine. Dushtantantaramaha, Bhashyakara gives another example. These are long technical discussions about this, as to why this Bhashyakara needs to give a second example. Some people say that, this is Shanka maybe, so Shanka Visha. But Shanka is real, but Shanka Visha is not real. So you can't say that the real is born of unreal, Because it's not from Shanka that the Maranam has taken place. From Shanka Visha the Maranam has taken place. Shanka may be unreal, but Shanka Visha is real. Because Shanka is real. Therefore, from real, the real has taken place, they say, and not from the unreal. That kind of an argument is done. Therefore, another example is given of Bhashyakara. Swapna darshanavasthasya cha sarpadamshana udakasnanadikari darshanad. Swapna darshanavasthasya cha, the person who is experiencing dream. Sarpadamshana, in the dream you can be bitten by a snake, you can have an experience that you are bitten by a snake, or udakasnana, that there is water in the dream, you may take bath in the dream water. So karya darshanad, that gives rise to the real effect. The sarpadamshana in the dream is unreal, or the bathing in the dream is unreal, and still it gives rise to the real effect. Says Ratnaprabha, asatyat sarpodakadehe satyasya damshana snanadi vijnanasya karyasya. It is dreamer thinks that I am bitten by a snake. In the dream, a person may be bitten by a snake. The whole dream is mithya, the snake is mithya, the biting is also mithya, but that fellow thinks that I am bitten. That knowledge is satyam. You follow? So satyasya damshana snanadi vijnanasya. That the knowledge that I am bitten or knowledge that I have taken bath is real. And therefore, from the unreal snake or unreal water, the real knowledge has taken place. Therefore, from asatya, satya is born. Satyasya damshana snanadi vijnanasya karyasya darshanat vyabhichara, meaning that satya is not from asatya, that rule also is violated here. Yathashrutam adaya shankate. So when it is said here that karya darshanat, then what is that karya? He thinks karya means actually being bitten or having taken bath. So that is the karya. So the question is raised here. Tat karyam api anrutam eva idi ched bruyat. He says, your example, you say that in the dream the person is bitten by a snake. But the karya snake bite also is unreal. Or in the dream, he has taken bath in the water. That bath also is unreal. How do you say that from the unreal snake bite, a real thing has taken place? Because what happens in dream is all the way unreal. So what is that karya? What is it that it generates which is real? So that is what Uktamartham Prakadayati. Bhashyakara clarifies what was stated generally, but specifically Bhashyakara clarifies. Tatra iti. Tatra brumaha. So with reference to this is what we have to say. Yadyapi स्वप्न दर्शनावस्थस्य सर्पदंशन उदक स्नानादि कार्यम अनुतम तथापि तत् अवगतिः सत्यमेव फलम प्रतिबुद्धस्यापि अबाध्यमानत्वात् नहि स्वप्नादुत्थितः स्वप्न दृष्टम सर्पदंशन उदक स्नानादि कार्यम मिथ्या इति मन्यमानः तत् अवगतिम अपि मिथ्या इति मन्यते कश्चित्. Bhashyakara says, we do not mean that his bathing is real. We do not mean that his being bitten is real. But the knowledge that I am bitten, the knowledge that I have taken bath, that takes place in the dreamer. See, yadyapi swapna darshanavastasya sarpadamshana udagasnadi karyam anrutam. For the person experiencing the dream, the damsha or the sting of the snake is not real, even though he thinks it is, or the bathing in the water is not real, even though he thinks. Tathapi tad avagati. But the knowledge of that unreal thing, satyameva phalam, that is a real thing. Says Ratnavara, avagatihi vruttihi. That avagati means knowledge, or the vritti takes place that I have taken bath or I am stung. That is real. The having taken bath is not real, but his notion that I have taken bath, that takes place, that is real. Or the notion that I am bitten by a snake is a vritti that takes place, is real. Ghataadivat satyapi pratibhasika swapna drishta vastuna phalam. And so, swapna is pratibhasikam, is only a projection of the mind. And drishta, what is seen in the swapna, is also pratibhasikam, but it gives rise to the real knowledge that I am beaten or I have taken bath. So, meaning of the word avagati, one meaning is vritti, second meaning is chaitanyam va, vritti abhivaktam, avagati shabdartha. Or the chaitanya, the consciousness reflected in that vritti is real. Vritti abhivaktam, the consciousness reflected in that vritti can be called also the avagati. In that case, that is also real. So Vashyakara says here that pratibuddhasyapi abadhyamanatvat. Even when a person wakes up, he knows that the water was unreal. He knows that bathing was unreal. He knows that snake was unreal. He knows the snake bite also was unreal. But still, that I thought of I was bitten, understand this. That I thought that I was bitten, I thought that I took bath, that knowledge persists in the waking also. Therefore, that knowledge that the waker has, that look, I thought that I took bath, I thought that I was bitten by a snake, that is not negated. Therefore, that is satyam. Actually, bath and biting is all unreal. But the dreamer thought that I am bitten, I have taken bath. And the waker also recognizes that this is what I thought when I was dreaming, because we recollect the dream. And therefore, that avagati, that knowledge is satyam. Pratibuddhasyapi abadhyamanatvat. Even the waker also recognizes this is what I thought when I was dreaming. Nahi swapnadutthittah swapna drishtam sarpadamshana udagasnadikaryam mithyayati manyamanah. So when you wake up from the dream, you know that the sarpadamsha, the sting of the snake or biting of the snake was mithya. Or that water was mithya, the bathing also was mithya. This is what you recognize when you wake up. So mithyayati manyamanasya. Manyamanah tadavagatim pati. But that I thought that I took bath, that I thought that I was bitten, that avagati still remains, and that is not unreal. That is not unreal. So mithyayati manyate kaschita. Nobody says that, hey Swami, this is what I thought in dream. I thought that really I was dying. This was happening to me. So that is real. When you wake up, then realize that this is really what you felt. What created that was all mithya. But the effect of real feeling took place in the dream, and that is satyam. Therefore, from the mithya, satya is born. This is another example. Prasangat dehatmavadopi nirastah iti. Prasangopat. Now Bhashyakara sees a good opportunity to refute the dehatmavada, the Charvaka opinion that Deha alone is Atma. That is refuted here. See, look at Nyaya Nanu avagati na swarupa chaitanyam na vivritti jnanam. That is Charvaka. Charvaka says the so-called avagati, we gave two meanings, either vritti or chaitanyam. He says none of them is the meaning of the word avagati or knowledge or cognition. Kintu शरीराकार परिणत भूत भूत चतुष्टयं विनिविष्टं रूपादि तुल्यं ज्ञानमिति. So Laukayadikas, the Charvakas, the materialists say that this body is the combination of four elements. They do not accept the space as the element because it cannot be perceived. So they accept only perception as the pramanam. So bhuta chatushte vishishtam rupadi tulyam jnanam. That knowledge, such as the color, such as the form associated with the body, so also the knowledge that you call avagati is also associated with this body, which is only bhuta chatushta. Iti laukayatika matamashangya etena iti. So Bhashyakara says, etena स्वप्न दृशः अवगत्य बाधनेन देहमात्रात्मवादो दूषितो वेदितव्यः. Etena means what? Swapna drushah avagati abad. Bhashyakara explains the word meaning of etena. What is etena? Swapna drushah avagati abadhanena. Even when we wake up, we realize what we thought in the dream. Swami, this is what I felt, this is what I experienced, and that is recollected. That's pratyabhijna, I recollect. And therefore, it is persistent, therefore, it is satya, we said. So, deha matra atmavada, the deha alone is atma, that vada or that contention is dushita, is refuted. So you must understand that this position, that body alone is Atma, is refuted hereby. How? Says Ratnaprabha, Swapnastha avagatehe swapna deha dharmatve uttitasya maya tadrusha swapna avagatah iti abadita avagati pratisandhanam nasyat. Swapnasthavagate swapna deha dharmatve. What is avagati? Avagati means chaitanyam. According to them, chaitanya is deha dharma. Chaitanya is, they mean that the consciousness is a combination of the result of the combination of four elements. That's what the medical science also accepts. That consciousness is a product of matter. So when the matter combines in a certain way, then it gives rise to consciousness. So similarly also the four elements, the air, fire, water, earth, these four elements, when they combine in a certain manner, then they give rise to consciousness. So consciousness is purely an attribute of the body. If this is what you say, then what will happen? In the dream you had this consciousness that I have taken bath, that I am bitten by a snake. So that would be the attribute of that swapna body. You follow? If consciousness or avagati is the only attribute of the body, then what took place in swapna, that avagati, that I have taken bath, I am bitten by a snake, this kind of avagati or cognition took place in dream. If that was the attribute of the dream body, then now when you wake up, the dream body is no more there, then that avagati also should not be there. If avagati of the knowledge is attribute of body, along with body it goes away. The dream body goes away when you wake up, then the dream knowledge also should have gone away. But when you wake up and you say, no, this is what I dreamt, you recollect. That means the same you were there in the dream body as you are there in the waking body. So Atma pervades the waking as well as dream, and therefore Atma is different from body. Because the waking body is not in dream. If you were the body, then you could not exist in dream. And dream body is not in waking. If you were the body, you could not wake up. So you are one who is different from the dream body as well as waking body. So Dehatmavada, Deha alone is Atma, is refuted in this manner. So says Ratnavara, Atah Deha Bhedepi Anusandhana Darshanat Dehanyah Anusandhata Ityartha. Deha Bhedepi Anusandhana Darshanat. Even though the waking body is different from the dream body, Anusandhanam, recollection is very much there of what happened in dream. The Anusandhata is the same. One who recollects is the one who must have experienced the dream. Ityartha. So that is the meaning. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Sutrabhashyakrutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.